Okay guys, welcome back. So now we are going to do our lab number 3 of this series, right? So lab number 3 is now we move to phase 2 and we are going to use static mapping, right? So that's what we are going to do. Now again, I am not going to do the whole configuration. Now remember, uh, we already did phase 1 with the static mapping. If you watch that video, that will be good for you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to load that configuration on my router so that you will see how evenly you can load the devices and all that stuff. So what I'm going to do, I will go to startup config. I know that I have phase 1 static mapping command set. I will make it the main one, and then I will close this one, and then I will go on to the more actions, and I will say wipe all nodes. Say all nodes will be wiped out. I said okay, no problem, I'm gonna wipe all nodes. So when we wipe all nodes, what happens that these routers go shut down, okay, and then I'm gonna start all my nodes. So now when they start, they actually will load the lab 1, or you can say the phase 1 static mapping command set. So we will see, we will verify that before we continue. So let's do this. Let's console to all of them. So this will open. Here we go. Right. So it will be really fast. So router 5, we don't need that, so we can close this. So we don't need that. On router 1, if you look at show IP NHRP, you can show IP NHRP, you can see that we have 3 entries here, right? And if I look at the tunnel interface, you can see that I have a static mapping for 3 spokes, spoke sites, right? If I go to router 2, if I do show IP NHRP, you can see we have one static entry. And if you look at our interface tunnel 1, you can see that we have a static entry for our hub with the point-to-point GRE. Now this is to be noted, in router 1 we have multi-point GRE, in router 2 we have point-to-point GRE. When in phase 2 we need to have a tunnel which is multi-point. So this is the first thing, this is the first change we're going to do. So what we're going to do is that we are going to change the configuration on the spoke site to make this phase 1 setup to phase 2, right? And the difference, what we are going to do is that we are going to say no tunnel destination, number 1, because we are going to change the mode to GRE multi-point, number 1. Number 2 thing, right? And you can see it's immediately came up. Now we have to map. We not only map the hub, but we also can map the spokes. So we will say IP NHRP map 10.1.2.3.4.3 192.150 35.3, right? And then we will do 4 with 45.4. So now if we get out of here and do show run interface tunnel 1, you can see now we have a multi-point GRE tunnel, right? The last line shows you this that we have a multi-point GRE tunnel. Our source is the same, everything remains the same, but we added maps. We added the map for the hub and the 2 spokes, right? And if I look at the show IP and HRP, I have 3 entries here. So if I may ping 2341, I should be able to ping that guy. If not, we will troubleshoot why it's not happening. On router 1, we do not need to erase anything. We do not need to do anything because router 1 will is the same thing. We should not change anything on router 1. So let's see router 1 again. So we have 234 mapped to this guy. We have a multi-point interface here as well. Everything seems fine. So if I look at show IP NHRP, we have the 3 entries. We also have the second entry here, right? So let's see, can I ping from here 10.1.2.34.2, and this guy is not pinging. So what we are missing? So we're missing something. Something is not working fine. So before we do more stuff, we make sure that we can ping the NBMA address of router 2. Yes, we can. So it means that router 5, which is our ISP, is working fine, and we have something else to troubleshoot. Now what we have to troubleshoot, that's what we have to see, right? So let's go on router 2 again. Let's do show run interface tunnel 1. So let's see, let's go through what we have. So we have IP address, which is fine. We have tunnel source, which is fine. We have tunnel mode, which is fine. And then we have IP NHRP network ID, which is also fine. We have 10.1.2.34.2. You see, that is why. So our mapping is wrong. So let's go back. Let's fix the mapping. So what we will do, we will take this one out. You might have got me in the first place, right? So this is one. So now this is fine. So now I should have the access of router 1. Okay, so that same thing we're gonna do on router 3. So we'll go config t interface tunnel 1 to save to see what's currently we have currently this one. So we have to do no tunnel destination 192.1.15.1, and then we have to say tunnel mode GRE multi-point, and then we have to define IP NHRP map 10.1.2.34.1 to 192.1.15.1. then 2 is 25.2, and then 4 is 45.4, right? And if we go on router 4, we can say show run interface tunnel 1 config t interface tunnel 1 no IP tunnel destination 190, not IP, no tunnel destination, no tunnel destination 192.1.15.1. instead we say tunnel mode GRE multi-point and IP NHRP map 10.1.2.34.1 192.1.15.1. then 2 is 25.2 and 3 is 35.3, right? So this is like basic configuration. If I look at show IP NHRP, I have all the entries. Actually I have more entries, 1 2 3 and 4. Why we have 4? Let's do show run interface tunnel 1. Oh, see, we have 4 as well. Let's remove that one. So I must have put it by mistake. So let's remove this guy. Don't need that. Okay, so now I can write it. Okay, so now if I look at IP NHRP, I have this. Now if I ping 10.1.234.1, I can ping it. If I ping 2, I can ping it. If I ping 3, I can ping it. And if I trace the same way 10.1.2.34.2, I'm going directly to 2, and I am going directly to the 3. So spoke to spoke communication is happening directly. If I go on 3 and I say trace me to 10.1.2.34.2, I'm going directly to 2. I'm going directly to, let's say, 4. I'm going directly to 4. Same way if I do a trace here just to verify, right? I'm doing this just for the verification purposes, because then I will save this configuration in its own lab section, right? So 4, and you see, so now this is phase 2, and let's recap. So I will go here and I say show run interface tunnel 1. Everybody will show me. So now if you look at tunnel 1 on hub side, we have a static mapping just like phase 1. There's no difference. It's just like phase 1. On spokes, we changed. We moved from a point-to-point GRE to multi-point GRE, and we added a static mapping for all these spokes and the hub. Same goes to 3, same goes to 4. So you see, that's the total difference we are making. Okay, so that is it. That is the lab number 3, DMVPN phase 2 with the static mapping. So now I will show you how to save it. So what I'm going to do, that I will go to startup config first. Remember, we phase 1 we did it, so I'm gonna say what was the name, phase 2 static mapping, right? So this is the guy. Right, so if I look at this guy should not have any configuration. See, it doesn't have any configuration. So phase 2 static mapping, and then I will make sure that this guy is the one which is focused. So I will set all nodes to selected config set. This is what is needed, and then once I'm done with this, I will go to more action and export all configs. So now if I once this will done, let's see, export selected is starting, and it didn't export. So there's something going on with my machine. It didn't exported it. So I might need to restart and then do it, but I don't want to do that. Come on. This might be a bug, might be fixed later on, but I never hit this in my previous encounters. Whenever I wanted to export, it always exported. Oh yeah, this time it worked, so maybe my fault. So it exported, all done. So if I go back to startup config, and if I look at my phase 2 static mapping commands, you will see that I have a static map here. If I go to router 2, look at the tunnel interface, I have a static map there. If I go to router 3, I have a static map there. So this is how you save it. So now I have saved it. The next one will be the lab with the dynamic mapping, should be, and we will do that, and we'll see how things are going to work on that one. So that will be our lab 4, which will be dynamic mapping lab. Okay, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.